Producer and host of Aim for the Stars, where you're going to meet the stars of today and tomorrow. I'm an actress and model from the East Coast of the United States, and this show is brought to you by Jess TV and Jess FM Radio from Lethbridge, Alberta. I am pleased to introduce my next guest, Tom Schmitt. He is an actor and producer. I'm so happy that you could join me today, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking the time out of the holiday season to give me a talk.
Of course. So for my first question today, I would like you to tell everyone in the audience a little more about your process in getting the role and the upside.
So the process of getting the role in the upside, I think I auditioned for 7 different parts, but they kept calling me back in. And then there was a little mix-up with the casting folks where the producers, something happened to where they said, hey, we want you to come and be background, just a term for extras for anybody out there that doesn't know industry terminology. And I was very disappointed, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll show up. And then I showed up, and they were getting me into wardrobe, and then a PA came in, and they're like, we need you right now. Me? Just me? Like, there's like 40 of us sitting around here waiting to get fitted for our costumes. Like, no, the director needs you, because there was a miscommunication. And I was like, oh, okay. So in the next 15 minutes, I'm sitting in a makeup chair next to Bryan Cranston, not knowing that I was going to, be in the scene with the leads of the film, just thinking I was going to be a blur in a dance scene or something. But yeah, it was just interesting and surreal.
Wow, that's crazy. Do you think there's anything that made you stand out in particular when you were auditioning for this role versus all of the other roles?
I think, honestly, I just tried to show up to each of these auditions and just, be realistic and live in the moment with whoever was reading with me, and not to push or, just these parts were like, 1 line, 2 lines, and it's not about you or your character. It's about the bigger story that you're trying to tell. So I guess keeping that in mind, it's like, oh, okay, he may not fit this part or that part, but this part would work because he knows how to help tell a story. So I try to approach every audition like that.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like that's definitely the way to do it. When would you say when did you get started in acting, and how did you get your start?
So my start in acting, I worked one of those haunted tour things when I was a teenager, and then I was like, should I pursue acting as a career? And I was like, nah, that's never gonna happen. It's unrealistic. And then I drifted around for a while in my 20s. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I went to film school because I love film, and I couldn't, I couldn't get away from acting. So in film school, I volunteered to be the lead in everyone's student films, and senior projects, and thesis films. And there was actually a policy towards my graduation where the professors said, if your film has Tom Schmitt in it, you're going to fail. We're going to fail you. Because people's film portfolios would just be different shots of me from different projects of theirs. So, in the grand scheme, it looked like they only filmed one thing in their whole film school career when, I was just in everything that they did. So it looked like one thing. And that's pretty much where I got to really, learn and practice film acting technique in those years. And then, just maintain those relationships, and you get to work with people like that throughout your growth as a performer.
Wow, that's really interesting. I'm curious. So it sounds like you started in film and then you went and did a little bit of theater and then back to film. How was the transition of that?
So the transition, I guess, more kind of difficult for me from a technical point of view. Like film and television, you get the microphone to be very close to you, so you naturally, stick with I guess, a more natural speaking voice. You don't really need to project because you don't want to blow the sound guy's eardrums out. But theater, I guess the biggest challenge for me in that adjustment was making sure that even if it's a sincere, quiet moment, the person in the last row, furthest seat, can still hear what you're saying. And then, learning how to use voice and speech kind of helps with the whole process, even for camera now. So I can't even do an audition if I don't do like a 15-minute vocal warm up beforehand, because I, once you learn how to get connected to your voice, it's hard to feel connected to yourself when you're not connected to your voice. So that was the biggest adjustment for me. And an audience, having people with that immediate response, that was new, definitely new.
Wow, okay. So with it being an audience versus a camera, can you talk a little bit more about that and how you adapted? Because you said that you get the live feedback from the audience, but I guess you can also kind of look wherever and it doesn't really matter. Where film, you can't necessarily do that. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. On stage, it's great because you get to use your whole body to tell a story. And going to film school, I I got a very high GPA, and it was only because I wanted to learn everything possible about film production, so I could film my own material, create my own work for me as an actor. And learning that technical side of performing for the camera, everything is more depending on the lens that you choose. Well, I guess you could say everything is a choice. If you see it on camera, it's a choice. That's why the mistakes can stand out and pretty much destroy the story you're trying to tell. But if you watch any shot of any film, somebody chose what color the fence in the back of the shot's going to be to help. It could be the contrast of the costume that the character's wearing, or there's so many choices, and it's such a collaborative thing. Where stage, it's you have your stage manager, show director, your cast, people helping to like run the show, but creatively it's such a small knit group for a stage production versus a film. There could be 300 crew, from I guess from the office side of things all the way down to your post-production supervisor. Just to get back to the technique side of it. Yeah, I guess for me, I'm more aware of what the camera needs from me. That way I can ignore it. As we're on stage, it's more what my partner needs. I guess leave it like that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Do you have a preference between acting for theater or film?
I used to only want to perform for camera. Now it's kind of the opposite. I'm trying to find any way back into theater that I can. I'm actually, I've been attending this Meisner Conservatory of Playhouse West Philadelphia for 9 years this coming January. It's like a 2-year program, but I keep going because, you want to keep fresh. You never stop learning, you never stop developing. But they do a lot of stage production. I'm hoping to get involved with quite a few this coming year.
Yeah, okay, wow. Why do you prefer that? Is it the audience that's really captivating to you, or what is it that makes you prefer the theater side?
I think right now, and where I am in my learning and practice, I just boy, this is embarrassing. I just finished a book. Maybe you can help me. He wrote Speed the Plow, American Buffalo, Mamet. Yeah, I just read a book by Mamet, and he said uh, acting and performance can't be learned in an academic pursuit. You need to learn from an audience. Like, you need to be on stage to know if you're giving clarity to the message of the writer, or if you um, think something's funny in the story and you're miscommunicating the humor. I feel like I need to get back on stage just for that academic purpose. Sorry, Mamet, but for me, forever a student.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Do you have a role like in acting or theater that you like it's a dream role for you, or have you already done one that was like, wow, this makes me really proud, like I've always wanted to do this role? Do you have one of those?
I do, and I had the opportunity for it, but in today's world, it's hard to not get a paycheck. But it was for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I was getting to the final auditions, and I was like, wow, I feel like this part's mine. It's like a dream role for me, like either Jekyll or Hyde. So it's a variation of the story where you have a Jekyll and then there's multiple Hydes, depending on how his character personality develops throughout the stage play. And I was very, very close to getting it, and then I had to, tell them like, guys, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like, it was, unfortunately, I don't care about money at all, but I have to work to pay bills and eat food. So I couldn't take 2 or 3 months off for rehearsals just to do it, unfortunately. But I feel like that role, it'll come back. It'll come back that way.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, whatever is meant to be will, happen. You already were almost there once, so once again, it'll happen in time.
So close.
Oh yeah. So between acting and producing, which one would you say is more challenging for you?
Honestly, I think the acting's more fun for me. The producing side is also strangely, in a stressful way, fun. Because you have to make sure that people show up, things show up, production resources show up. As we're acting, it's, you got to show up. Prepared, of course. Overly prepared so you can forget everything that you prepared. But, producing, there's a lot riding on you for the project. Yeah, so I definitely prefer acting.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm just going to reintroduce myself for everyone tuning in. My name is Arianna. I am the host and producer of Aim for the Stars, and we are coming to you live on Jess TV, and my guest is Tom Schmitt, actor and producer. So getting back into these questions, what would you say your most memorable moment on set was, either acting or theater or whatever?
I think the first stage play that I did, we went to a couple cities to their fringe festivals. There was a play called Skin in the Game by an awesome playwright, Anthony Ginta, and we did New York, the New York Fringe, and there's a Broadway show, a musical that had just come out called Kinky Boots, which I'd never seen ever. Still haven't. I will. I promise. Promise to that cast I will. But we had opening night in New York for this fringe play, and then we got like a standing ovation, and it was my first, first play. It was only the second city of 3 that we did. It was probably the 5th performance that we did of the show, and I just went backstage after we did curtain call. I found like a nice private dark place where nobody could see me, so I could cry and sob out of like happiness. Like that's that feeling. That's what I want to feel after every piece of work that I do. But the cast of Kinky Boots was there. I didn't know, and they led the standing ovation for us. I was like, that's a pretty cool moment to think back to. But that's the beauty of theater. It's not on camera.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that was your most memorable. Do you have an acting experience where you feel like you just gave your all, like that was the best performance you have ever gave, or there's a character you really just like put your all into? What way would that be for you?
I think right now, looking back on the whole scope of everything, I'm working on a character now in my Meisner school for a project, a screenplay that I already have written, and I look forward to producing this year. But working on the character, sometimes you like to take easy ways out of things, and you're only cheating yourself. So I feel like I'm actually doing the work 200% this time on this character, because it's a very demanding role. So yeah, right now I'm in the thick of it, which is a good place to be.
That's awesome. So you have all this acting experience. You have film, you have theater, producing. I mean, I'm sure you've watched plenty of shows from the audience. Do you think having all these different perspectives helps you as an actor or producer? Does it kind of get in your way? How do you deal with that sort of thing?
That's a very good question. So I think as a performer, or even as a human, go out and watch everything you can, experience everything you can in life that adds to your work as a performer, adds to your, I guess, value in society as a human. You're more compassionate towards others. But when it comes to acting work, if I know that I'm going to get or work on a play or a scene in class from a different play, I avoid watching any performance of that show because I don't want to get someone else's behavior, their speech pattern. I don't want to get stuck in somebody else's work. Like I'm going to find my own way to the writer's words. So I don't know. Did that answer the question?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much. Do you have a role model in acting I guess in acting or, just in general, do you have someone that you look up to as your role model who inspires you and all of that good stuff?
I like to watch a lot of people's work and like their filmographies, from start to finish. There's a local actor. His name's Brian Anthony Wilson, but he works hard and he's in like everything. But he's solid in everything that he ever does, and he works all the time. And I've gotten to work with him on a few projects, and he's a very good role model to have. And also, like this person I've reached out to with questions before, and it's been more than helpful and encouraging. And that's somebody I think we need more people like that in this industry and the world.
Absolutely, yeah. That's great. Is there anyone in your personal life that inspires you?
Yes, my partner. Every day she does.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to have. And I guess that leads into my next question. How do you balance all of this? Your work, your leisure time, friends and family, film. What are the challenges that come along with this?
I guess the biggest challenge is trying to keep myself available for any opportunities that come my way, but the cost of that is not having a stable life in a way. I don't have a 9 to 5. I have more like like a 9 to 5, as in 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Bartending between gigs and stuff for survival. And I guess that doesn't let me have a normal life. Although acting and being a performer, I guess I signed up not to have a normal life, and it's okay.
Yeah, it is. It's part of the process, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so you bartend and you act. Do you have time for any other hobbies? What do you like to do outside of, I guess, just working all the time? Like, what do you do to relax?
I go to the gym, so that's another form of work in a way. I do for fun. I used to play video games, but they're very time consuming, so I don't play video games anymore. Play with my cats. Yeah, I guess exercise. Exercise is a good one.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. It's a healthy release too. So it seems like you're pretty balanced.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so when you're getting prepared for your acting roles, do you have a method? Are you like a method actor? How do you get into character? What is your method, or do you even have one?
No, some people I know have a process. I try to just do the same fundamental things when approaching a project or a role at first. Read the script, write down your notes from your first read as an audience viewer, go back, read it again as somebody that's in the project, and then write down all the facts that you can find, things that other characters say about your character, things the writer puts into the story, and start to design a biography for things that you need to work on outside of the scripts to have pretext and circumstance and relationships built. So when you hop on set, and I think the last thing to do is learn the lines. But yeah, also finding costume. Costume is I found such a huge thing for me. Like if I read the script maybe twice, I get the costume on. If you put me out in the world, I'm like already walking around as that person in a way. I feel it. It's so strange, but I know it works for me. So definitely costume and script.
Yes, analyzing the script, I feel like is huge for me. Everybody has their own, little quirky things that they do, though. So that was really interesting to hear that it's the costume that does it for you. So
yeah, that's like the final. That's the final. What do they say? Cross on the T, dot on the I.
Dotting the I. Yep. All right. Well, that's amazing. So this is a hypothetical question. But if, say, you were on set, obviously you need to know your lines as well as your partner, and you act a lot based off of your partner. For you, what is the qualities of the perfect scene partner? Like, what would make you be able to perform to the best of your abilities through your partner?
I guess somebody that's open to play, because coming from the Meisner discipline, I've worked from different backgrounds and approaches. Some people show up and they already know how they're going to say their lines, which is bizarre to me. And then they won't change anything no matter what happens in the moment or what behavior is pulled up in the scene. And I guess a good scene partner for me, at least, is somebody that comes with ideas. Hey, would it be cool if I did this? Would that help you find this moment that's not working? Somebody that's fluid and can improvise, but stay within the context of the story. So, and if you have the director's permission to improvise, that's great too. But somebody that'll actually be there, be present, instead of just like, oh, I remembered this line, I'm gonna say it this way. It's the most dreadful.
Yeah, so basically someone that's just easy to work with and you can, I guess, build off of is what you're saying.
Yeah, just listen like we're doing right now, listening in the moment and working off of each other. That's what it is. We could film this and somebody could watch it And then if we're like, yeah, it was scripted, they're like, wow, that was awesome. Just, bouncing the ball back and forth.
Yes, of course. That's, acting, you kind of you kind of have to do that. So between you and your characters, obviously you're not going to be playing characters that align with you all of the time. How do you separate yourself from the characters and their values and morals, and how do you not get completely sucked away into the character?
I guess for me at this stage in my work, I've been fortunate enough and unfortunate enough to where the work hasn't been that serious. Like, where I am right now, I'm getting cast based off of what I look like, what I sound like, and basically cop, bad neighbor, or like the good guy gone wrong. Like, those are the parts I'm getting called in for. So right now, I would love to play something completely off the rails, and I think my approach to that would be just finding that character's point of view and making it, the suspension of disbelief, and say, oh, okay, I could see why this character, hates pizza, but I love pizza. But it's like, okay, I gotta find a way to justify it in my mind why I could hate pizza, and I believe in that 100%. So I feel like when the challenge comes, I'm excited.
Okay, that's awesome. So you talked earlier about the Jekyll and Hyde role, which you were close to getting to, and obviously as actors, you don't get every role. I know you didn't necessarily get, turned down from the play, but I'm wondering, since we do get rejected so often, are you just used to the criticism now and the rejection? How do you handle that sort of thing?
I used to get really, really like downtrodden and bitter. Now it's like, it's okay, on to the next one. Like, just like right before Christmas, I got dropped by a management company, and they had valid reasons. They represented a different client roster or different client type, and they threw me a bone and tried to help me out, and it just didn't work out. And I think back in the day, I would have been crushed. Probably would have tried to drink as much tequila as a human could ingest. But I was like, it sucks, and I'm miserable because of it, but it's not the end of it. Not anymore.
Yeah, I feel like in this industry, you kind of just have to move on from something if you don't get it. It's kind of just the way that it works,
Yeah, and it's funny because I audition a lot, and I don't book a lot. So it's as I'm sure any other actor out there is having the same success rate. So just gotta get used to it.
All right. Well, we are almost out of time, but I do have one or two more questions left for you. The first one is, do you have anything coming up in the future that you're excited about, that you want to share? Any projects or anything coming out?
There's a few projects that I did in the last year or two, some feature films, but I don't know what's happening with those. I send emails like, hey guys, it'd be cool to just see it or get a copy of it for my agents, or for the chance to get more work. So there's things coming out, hopefully, but I think that would show up on my IMDb. But I'm excited. I'm doing a whole Shakespeare study month in January. I'm just gonna read all his plays. So that's what I'm really excited for.
Okay, wow, that's definitely an unconventional hobby, I feel like. Is there anything else that you would like the viewers to know? Will you share your social media, and then anything else?
Yeah, sure. I think my Instagram is _Tom Schmitt. TomSchmitt. I think. I don't remember. But I'm sure if you go on IMDb and look up my name, all my links for socials are there, and you can Google me. I pop up on Google. So, everything's out.
All right, perfect. Well, that is all we have time for today. But thank you so much, Tom, for joining me.
Yeah. And
thank you to our viewers for tuning in and watching Aim for the Stars. Bye. Be sure to catch my other episodes on Jess TV, YouTube, and